Aw, shit. Here we go again.
Welcome to the Sloppy Book Club podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Celese. And we have made it to episode 15. And this is a special episode. This is our Pride Month special. So we're going to be talking about books that have some really good LGBTQ representation. We both have a book that... I know I enjoyed my book. I believe you enjoyed your book too.
I did. Yeah, It was pretty decent.
Okay, perfect. So we have two books that we're going to be reviewing. Like I said, it's going to have LGBTQ plus representation in honor of Pride Month or in celebration of Pride Month, rather. Jenny has a wine she's going to review. I have a sparkling water that I'm going to be mentioning. I'm still not drinking anything, so I'm keeping it PG with some bubbly sparkling water. And Jenny has a game. I have no idea what this game is, so it's going to be just as new to me as it will be to our viewers. So this should be fun. So first, let's do your wine, Jenny. What are you drinking?
Okay. So I have a red wine.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's only one red wine that I like. So I have a feeling I'm not going to like it. But I'm keeping an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Apothic Crush. It's a soft red blend. But it's really pretty. And Mike actually found it. And he was like, oh, I think you might like that.
That is a really pretty bottle.
Right? It's very
Gothic, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to try it. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Oh, that's not bad.
Angel loves red wine.
It's not sweet.
I love every time you're like, it's not that bad, and then you make like this disgusted face or like
because after a while, you really taste it in the back.
Yes.
So, okay, it's not that. Like, I would drink it if it was just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little bitter.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Aw.
I probably wouldn't buy it again.
All right. But Angel loves red wines. I can't. Because sometimes aren't they like room temperature? Like sometimes...
They're supposed to be, but I would never.
Yeah, I couldn't drink... No, I don't like that.
Yeah, I have to put my wine in the fridge.
Mm-hmm. I have to have it cold too. So I have...
I do have a backup though.
Ooh. What do you have? What is that?
It's margarita. It's margarita from Frontera.
Oh my God. They have it in bottles now?
Yes, they do.
I did not know that.
I'm so excited.
That is a problem. Yep. Can you buy a case of it?
I don't know. This is the first time I've ever bought anything like this from anywhere. But yeah, they have all their margaritas in bottles.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. That's actually very smart for them.
It is.
That's very smart.
Yeah.
I would say, I wonder if you could DoorDash it to the house, but I don't think you can. Just because it's alcohol, and I don't think you can do that.
Yeah.
But that's funny.
Who knows?
So I have, literally, it's called Bubbly, sparkling water. I'm trying the pineapple coconut because I'm hoping for like a pina colada kind of taste. I miss my pina coladas. There's actually a restaurant that just opened near us, a Mexican restaurant, and they do different like shakes, and I recently had their strawberry pina colada. It was like strawberry smoothie mixed with pina colada, and it was the best thing I ever had in my life. Non-alcoholic. It literally tasted like a strawberry Nesquik, but then in the back it had like a coconut flavor. It was so good. So it was like a super cold. It was like a super cold strawberry Nesquik kind of flavor, and then like a hint of coconut at the end. That was really, really good. And it came in one of those big, like, almost those cups that the margaritas come in at Frontera, those really big glass cups.
Yeah.
And I drank that whole thing. And then I went home later on and I told Angel, I was like, I want another one. It was so good. But anyway, it's the bubbly.
Honestly,
Huh?
you're kind of putting me off with the whole Nesquik thing.
No, it's so
Then
good.
it makes me think of milk.
Okay, it didn't taste like, it's like a smoothie. It was like a strawberry smoothie with a coconut like taste at the end. But it tasted like strawberry Nesquik to me. But it was so good. I loved it.
I'm gonna have to try it.
You do. So the next time you guys come over around here, we can do dinner over there because the food was really good too. So I have this pina colada wannabe sparkling water. I've already tasted it. I love it. Angel tasted it. He hated it because he doesn't like sparkling water to begin with. Because when he was sick, his mom used to give him, what are those tablets you put in water? Is it Alka-Seltzer? Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess his mom used to give him that when he wasn't feeling well, and he would it would help him throw up. So anytime anything sparkling or carbonated, it makes him think of that. So he automatically he has PTSD with sparkling water. So he doesn't like it, but I like it. Yeah. I even would want to put it in a slushie or something. So it's even colder. But I like it. It's like a watered down pina colada. I'll take it.
Yeah. You drink that sparkling water.
I will. I'll stay hydrated. All right. So the game. Does it have a name?
No. It's kind of weird.
Okay.
So I saw it on TikTok. A lot of people are playing it non-book related.
Okay.
And I've seen a couple book related ones.
Okay.
So I think it's called either He's a 10 or She's a 10, but ... So,
oh, yes. Okay, I've seen it where it's he's a 10, but he wears socks to bed or something like that.
Yes.
Something cringy.
So then you have to rate it.
Okay.
Lower, if you rate it lower or whatever.
Right.
So I have a few things on here, and I'll just ask you, and you can just answer them. Okay?
I love it. Let's go.
All right. So the book is a 10, but there's a sex scene that lasts only 2 paragraphs.
Then it'll drop down to a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need more spice. You can't just give me 2 paragraphs.
A whole chapter at least.
A whole chapter? You see, that's no.
A short whole chapter.
Okay, I can do a short. I can do a short chapter. But I hate when it starts getting repetitive. Okay, he did this to you already. Okay, again. All right, I'm over it. All right, we get it. No, but yeah, that would drop down to a 6. I need more than 2 paragraphs, definitely. That you can't get that much information in 2 paragraphs.
No, it would be really fast.
Yeah.
They would finish really fast. That's kind of weird.
That's if a man just lasted 2 minutes. That's just not fun.
That's exactly how I think about it.
Who wants
a paragraph per minute?
Exactly. What was Missy Elliott's line? Nobody wants a 2-minute man or what? 1 second man or something. Nobody wants that. So I don't want a 2 paragraph book. Okay.
So that's a no-go. All right. The book is a 10, but the main character that you love dies at the end.
Oh, no. That's a 0. That's a straight, I'm throwing that book away.
Even if the whole book is a 10, it immediately drops down to a 0 because he dies at the end.
Absolutely. Didn't I tell you I was traumatized with A Fault in Our Stars?
Oh, yes, you were.
I've only read that book 1 time because of that. So, oops, spoiler. If you haven't read or seen the movie by now, sorry. But yeah, I love that book. But if I'm scoring it, it's a 0. I love it though.
Yeah.
But it's a 0. Like, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. You just made me cry. Like, I'm devastated. I can't picture their life anymore now. Or his life.
That's true.
Like, what if he had children, Jenny?
Oh my god. I don't think I would go as far as rating it a 0. I would maybe, like, it would drop down a good amount, maybe to like a 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be very mad at the author.
Yeah.
Very mad. And I wouldn't trust the author anymore.
Yeah, I like my happy endings. Like, I don't want to, no. I don't want to cry and be completely devastated and not get a happy ending. Like, he could get really, really sick, but he better get better. He can have a near-death experience, but he can't die.
I really want a book that is like that. Like, I want a bad ending. Like, something really bad happens at the end.
Have you read the John Green? He'll do that to you.
Yes, I read that. I read The Fault in Our Stars. I teared, but
you teared?
It kill me.
I freaking hyperventilated. I was so distraught because it came out of left field. He caught me by surprise with that one. I don't get caught by surprise many times in a book because I kind of feel like I'm really good at like putting puzzles together and pieces and being like, I feel some foreshadowing here. I did not get that in that book. So he completely took me on a roller coaster of emotions.
Oh my God.
All right, what's your next one?
All right, let's see. The book is a 10.
Mm-hmm.
But they immediately have sex in the first 2 chapters.
That's too soon. Like
That's
the love, like the love interest.
Yeah.
They in the first 2 chapters.
Like the first 2 chapters, they're already doing it.
No, that's like a 4.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a 4 or 5. Because it's like you don't get any of that.
Insta-love.
Yeah, you don't get that angst. You don't get that banter. Mm-hmm. You don't get like the stuff that leads up to those spicy scenes. And I like that. I like that build up. You know, that suspense of them getting together.
I agree.
Yep, that's a 4 or 5.
I agree. Maybe a 3. That's too much.
Yeah.
That's too fast.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Okay. The romance is a 10, but then she gets pregnant.
There's so many books like that.
I know.
Like I'm happy when she gets pregnant in the end, but not so soon. That's another like 5.
Yeah.
I
would say 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm more of a 5 because I'm not. I'm more of like, damn, already, or I'm like, damn, your birth control sucks. But okay, now she's pregnant. Oh, let me guess, she's not going to tell him. And he's going to find out by someone else.
Oh my God. You just read a book like that. Didn't you?
Well, if we're talking, did they get pregnant? I don't know. All my books are blurring together.
He didn't know. She got pregnant after. Remember, he like found out towards the end or whatever.
Oh yes.
When she was older.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was small town, big.
Oh yep.
Small town.
Big rumors or something.
Big rumors. Yeah. Small town, something like that. Yes. The Willow Winters book. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Absolutely, that did happen.
So we have 2 more.
Okay.
He's a 10, but he says, "I'm going to fill you with my hot seed."
That drops down to like a 3 or 4. It's like, so gross. My hot seed. Which is funny because I just read one of the most recent Ice Home books. It's the spin-off of Ice Planet Barbarians.
Oh, yeah.
You know, my blue
really
aliens. And I believe he says that. And I think I automatically thought of you. And I was just like, nah.
I was like, associate me with seed.
Yes.
Warm, hot seed.
Warm, hot seed. Oh, so gross. Or when they're
like
describing how it's like falling down between her thighs. And I'm like, Jesus. Lift your legs, girl.
Oh, my God. All right. Let's go. Last one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The book is a 10, but the male main character is blonde.
The male main character is blonde.
Main character, blonde.
Blonde. You know what's funny? She can, you know, the author or whoever the writer is can say they're blonde, and I'm automatically going to put them as brunette anyway. So it doesn't really matter what they say.
Oh my God.
So it might still, I'll say like a 7-8 because I'll keep picturing them the way I picture them. So if he looks better brunette, I'm going to make him brunette. Just like
I couldn't do that. What's that book that we read? Was it King of Battle and Blood? Wasn't he blonde?
Yes. But I didn't picture him the way
I didn't like it.
I didn't picture him that way, though.
Not.
Like, I know she said that he had long blonde hair and all that, but no, not in my mind. I got some of his features, but I made him brunette. Sorry.
Yeah. I couldn't help but see that because I got the special edition and it had his picture right in the front. So
the only person where like it didn't bother me was Tamlin. Cause isn't he like a light-haired kind of blonde?
Yeah,
and I pictured him that way, and I was fine with that. But yeah, I changed.
Well, that's because you didn't like him.
That's true too.
Eventually, you didn't like him.
Eventually, but at first, I had my love for him, and then I was just like, no, I don't. I hate you.
Was it because he was blonde? No, I'm kidding.
No, it was because he was a douche. That's why. But I like this game.
Yeah, I did too, and you could do it with so many things.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do it again sometime.
We should have the guys come on again for a podcast and do that.
Yeah.
And just like, okay, what if you heard this in a story? Would, you know, it still be a 10, or would it make the story seem, you know, stupid or whatever? So, I know the guys.
We could also show them like female main characters of books that we've read, and then make up like bad things about them and see how they would rate them.
Yes. That would be a good one. We'll put that in the works, people.
Yes.
Because that was such a fun episode having them on, so.
It was.
Bring them on. I would just have to find a babysitter for both the kids now, though.
Yeah, you have to now.
Who's going to watch the infant? But anyway, so do you want to share your story first or mine?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I can do mine.
Okay.
Mine's a short one.
Oh.
So I have Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers, and it is a contemporary sapphic romance, and I think it's less than maybe 250 pages, so it's a pretty short book. So it's about this woman, Grace Porter. She's 29 years old, so it's an adult book.
Okay.
She graduated with her PhD in astronomy.
Oh, we like a smart main character.
I know, I like it. So she knew she was going to have a tough time going into this profession because she's a woman, she's black, and she's a lesbian.
Oh,
so
wow.
She had like a lot of things stacked against her.
Yes.
So she knew she was going to have a tough time going into this profession. So when she graduated, she wanted to let off some steam, and she went with her girlfriends to Vegas. So when she arrived at Vegas, she had a good time. The very last night, she met someone. They got drunk. She wakes up the next day in a haze, and she starts thinking, did I dream yesterday, or was it real? She started getting like little flashbacks of the whole night, and she just wasn't sure if it was real because she remembers getting married. So she's looking around her room. There's no one there, and she has a shirt that says bride on it, and then she finds a note with someone's handwriting and a key, like a necklace key. Mm-hmm. So she finds a lot of little things that kind of lead to her actually like believing that she got married the night before.
Right.
So I'll read what the note said. It said, I know who I am, but who are you? I'm going to call you Honey Girl because you glow like gold. I think I was happy. Hope you were too. Maybe one day you'll find me. So she has blonde hair, and like this girl who she got married to calls her Honey Girl because of that. So she ends up going back home. We get to know like all of her friends and stuff, and she admits to them what happened. They're super supportive. But then here comes the dad. Her dad lives close by her, and he's in the military. He's very like concrete, rules kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And he has a lot of high expectations for her, and he always has. She describes him as being that way her whole life. Mm-hmm. So basically, like when she wanted to go to school for astronomy, to be a doctor in astronomy, he was like, no, why would you do that? You should just be a regular doctor like me, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So always kind of putting her down for her life choices.
Right.
Never about her being lesbian or anything. That was never like an issue in this book, which I liked. It was just, that's who she was, period.
So they were very accepting.
Her friends, her family, like that was never ever an issue. It was more about like her coming into herself, like into like this confident woman, which I was kind of disappointed about. Not that I wanted there to be struggle with like the whole lesbian thing. What I wanted was this fun, crazy book. Because it was described as, oh, I woke up and was married to a stranger in Vegas.
Right. So
and I was like, oh, that'll be fun. It wasn't. It wasn't anything like that. But it was not that it was a bad book, because it was a really good book. Mm-hmm. It just was a whole different vibe than what I originally thought. Mm-hmm. So anyway, when she finally tells her friends about this woman that she married, they're like pushing her to like figure out who she is. Right. So the card that she left had like her business info, and she realizes that she's a radio show host in New York City. So they end up listening to her show one night, and her name is Yuki, and she's talking about sirens and how sirens are meant to lure people in. And then she mentions this girl with honeybee golden hair who holds a key. So she knows she's talking about her. Mm-hmm. So they've never spoken. There's no phone number, nothing. So she knows that she's thinking about her. So she's like, wow, I'm married to this girl, and she's actually thinking about me. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should actually call her. So they end up talking. They get to know each other very briefly, but they don't really like move on to anything else. So Grace ends up going to the hospital to talk to her dad, because like I said, he's a doctor, and she's like having a mental breakdown. She confesses to him that she needs a break, because not only is she not getting these interviews, or these interviews that she's going for, they're not like working out for her, because as I said before, she knew she was going to have a tough time getting these jobs, and everybody was like, oh, you're just not the right fit kind of thing. So she's having a mental breakdown, telling her dad she needs a break. He's not listening to her. He's like, you just need to go for it. Ignore all of these feelings that you're having. Just go for these jobs. I can get you a job anywhere. Mm-hmm. So she loses it, and she disappears. She goes to New York City to be with Yuki. Mm-hmm. So they end up spending the summer together. And there's a lot in between that. I don't want to talk too much about that, but there's a lot that happens throughout the summer. And what really got me was this quote. I think I posted this quote on Instagram. So her and Yuki are talking, and Grace is kind of teaching her about space and things like that, and she's just like telling her about the Mars rover, how they sent the Mars rover up to space, and it was this machine that's supposed to like collect information and send it back to Earth. It was only supposed to last 90 days, but it ended up lasting longer. And then eventually, when it started to die, the machine was saying it's getting so dark because it was losing its battery.
Aww.
So that's the quote that I posted on there.
Yes, I remember it.
Yeah, so she was just like, she was done telling Yuki about the Mars rover, and then she was just like, my battery is low, it's getting oh so dark in here. So she was trying to like express to the one person who's been listening to her how depressed and sad and how much she's struggling. So that really got me.
Yeah. You know, when you had posted that, I felt that. You know, we all have, like, those moments where, like, our batteries do get low, and we don't always share that. So, that really got me. I was just like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's a good quote.
And the thing is, like, she was trying to share that with people, with everyone, her friends, her dad. And her friends were supportive, but they were just more like, you have, like, almost everything handed to you. Just go get what you want. Versus her dad, who was, like, pretty much saying stop whining and go get a job kind of thing. So Yuki was like the only one who was kind of being supportive about it and kind of telling her, you know, you don't need those people. Go find what you really want to do and just go for it. There's a little bit of spice in this book, not too much. Like it doesn't really dive deep into it. It's one of those like 2 paragraphs kind of things, but because they don't go into too much detail on it. Like she doesn't focus on that at all. You just kind of know that it's happening. They end up getting into a big fight. They separate. She kind of runs away from her, goes to see her mom, and then at the end, it's really, really, really sweet. And I'm not going to talk about it in case somebody wants to like read it, but it's like the sweetest ending I've ever read in a book, and I'll leave it at that. It is a happily ever after kind of thing. But again, the book took me by surprise. I did not expect it to be this way. I wanted like a fun lesbian book and not at all like that. It was just super like poetic and like easygoing, easy to read, super fast, but the emotional roller coaster that I had with it.
You just weren't expecting it. Because, like you said, you hear, oh, she goes to Vegas and she gets married to a stranger. What could possibly go wrong? And then it's not really about that whole experience. It's totally different. So, yeah, I can see where I would look at the book again like, did I read the description right? Because I thought, you know. But does it ever say why she didn't stay? And instead wrote the note and gave her the little chain?
No, so Yuki was there visiting, Grace was there visiting, but it doesn't really say why she just like up and left.
Yeah.
She just left a note with all these little clues about them actually being married, and then she went back home. She seemed, I don't know if it ever said how old Yuki was, but Yuki definitely seemed a lot younger, and not that she didn't have her life together, but she was more like carefree. She was a carefree character. She lived with 3 male roommates. One I think was gay, and she worked as a waitress and then did the radio show host at night. So she was just a little bit more carefree, where Grace she had been to school for 11 years and knew exactly what she wanted to do. She was just having trouble getting to where she wanted to be.
Right.
So it's just 2 different lifestyles. One super carefree, the other one super high expectations, pretty much being broken down by all of like the no's and no's and no's. So she needed somebody like Yuki to kind of bring her down a little bit and let her be more open.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would just be like, yo, how do you just up and leave? You got married and you just up and left and now you're just leaving clues kind of thing.
Yep.
So I would be annoyed. Like, we got married and you just up and left me? Excuse me, man. But that's
And
also
there was none
scary,
of that.
just waking up and you just, like, finding out, like, you're married to a random person because you got too drunk. Like, where are your friends?
Exactly. Well, they left her. Because they needed to leave the next day, so they were like, we're going back to the room. She wanted to keep partying with this girl that she just met, so they kind of just left her, which was crazy.
My friends
leave
would
your
never.
Never.
It would be like, oh, you want to continue to party? Yeah, you're going to party with your eyes closed. Let's go. We're going home. Go drink some water and let's go.
Go drink some water.
Exactly. Go drink some water and let's go.
Yep.
Because, you know,
Agreed.
we've all had our crazy, like, party moments, but my friends have always dragged me off that dance floor and was like, it's time to go. You're not staying.
Yep.
No, but that sounds like a really good book. Is it like,
Yeah, it was
so it kind of has like that, almost like coming of age, even though she's kind of like older, but like her finding herself kind of thing, that kind of vibe. That's what I'm getting from it.
Right.
Okay.
That's exactly what it was. It was definitely a coming of age. It's just she was an adult.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like it. Even though
Yeah,
I
was
would
cute.
want
I
more
liked
partying, because that's what I was expecting, but it does sound like a really good book.
it. Yeah. I know. Like, I was disappointed because it didn't have it, but I wasn't disappointed in the book because it really was a decent book.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And it was Honey Girl by who?
Morgan Rogers. And it was her very first book.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, the book that I'm reviewing, I believe it's his debut book too. So that's interesting that they're both, I think it's like his first book as well, but I might be wrong, but I thought I read that somewhere. So my book is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, and I absolutely adored this book. Like, I really loved the characters. I loved the writing style of the author. It felt kind of like familiar but different. I guess it's because one, it's like, you know, a Latin, main character. Like, you know, I don't read a lot of books where it relates to our own, like, heritage or our people kind of thing. I don't really read a lot of books like that. So this was great where not only was he a Latinx, you know, main character, Yadriel, but he was also a trans boy. So the story is about a trans boy named Yadriel, who's really determined to prove his sexuality and his gender to his family, who just don't get it. They're very traditional. And on top of that, his family actually practices witchcraft. So, you know, they call, you know, the boys brujos and the girls brujas, and they practice, you know, Spanish witchcraft and things like that.
Brujeria.
Yes. I can't say that word. I tried saying it to Angel and he laughed at me. So, yes. So, I'm just going to go with Spanish witchcraft. We'll say it that way.
Oh my God.
Because I sound terrible saying it. But yeah, so it was really cute. I really liked the dynamics of the characters. So basically, he's trying to prove his gender and also prove, you know, that he can do the rituals the boys do, because in his family, the women, they're healers when it comes to their witchcraft. And the men, what they're able to do is they're able to summon spirits and then help those spirits go to the afterlife. So that's their job. So the women heal and the men kind of help spirits go into the afterlife. Well, in Yadriel's case, you know, and the tradition of his family, they're like, okay, you can say you're a boy, but you're a healer at the end of the day. They don't see it as he's able to ever summon a spirit and be able to actually send it to the afterlife. So what he decides to do is he's gonna do his, because when you turn 15, you summon your first, the boys summon their first spirit and they send them off, and the women do their ritual of like healing someone or something. So he has never been able to be a part of those rituals. So he's already past his 15th birthday in the book. And he's like, well, because my family hasn't allowed me to be a part of the ritual, I'm going to do it myself. So he and his cousin Maritza, they decide to do, she's going to help him do his ritual, and he's going to become a brujo, and he's going to be able to prove, he's going to be able to summon a spirit and be able to, you know, send it to the afterlife and prove to his family not only that he's a boy, but he was blessed by the spirit, what do they call her? This is going to bother me. There's this like lady saint that they follow, like Lady Death, I think it is. So he's gonna prove like, hey, Lady Death gave me my power, so she blessed me basically, and she recognizes me as a boy. So during the ritual, him and his cousin, they summon the spirit, but it winds up, it's not a random spirit like they thought it would be. It's a boy named Julian. And Julian, they go to school with him and they're like, what the fuck? When did he die? And Julian gets summoned and he's like, who the fuck are you guys? And where am I? Like, I was just with my friends. We were about to go get tacos, and all of a sudden I'm here in a haunted church, basically. Oh. So he's like, he didn't know he was dead until he got there, and they're like, oh, we summoned you. I'm gonna send you to the afterlife. And he's like, afterlife? He's like, I'm not going anywhere. So Yadriel tries to do it, I guess. So he basically says like a chant, and then there's like a gold kind of string that pops up, and he's supposed to cut that cord. Like, so what, let me backtrack. So the cord, the light that happens is you're tethered to, how do I explain it? So you're still connected to your past life through an object, and you have to cut that object off from your soul, basically, so that you can go and free yourself to go to the afterlife. But if you're still tethered to that whatever artifact or special like item of yours, you're always going to be connected to basically Earth kind of thing, and you're going to be wandering like a ghost until someone helps you send you. So in Julian's case, it was a necklace his dad gave him. So Yadriel, he found that necklace, and he knew that was going to be what tethered Julian to still be on Earth and not go to the afterlife. So he has to cut that cord. He tries to cut it, and it won't do anything. So he's like, and Yadriel's like, yeah, because I'm not leaving. Like, I just died. I don't know how I died. I was with my friends. I need to make sure my friends are okay. So he's like, I'm not going to help you send me to the afterlife or be okay with it until you help me do this. So over this all spans in the course of like maybe 3 to 4 days. The whole book is like 3 to 4 days. So what they wind up doing is, he has to help find his friends, figure out how he died. But in the same time that Julian died, Yadriel and Maritza's cousin Miguel died too. And they know that he died painfully, but they can't find his body, or they don't know what happened to him. So his family, him and his whole family, are all trying to find Miguel and help him bring him to the afterlife. And here's Yadriel and Maritza, who are trying to find out what happened to their cousin, but also they have to find out what happened to Julian and find his body.
Yeah.
So in the whole book, it's, Yadriel kind of hiding away from his family and especially his dad, because he can't let his dad know that he summoned a spirit yet because he hasn't sent him away. And if he doesn't send him away, it's just going to solidify his father's belief of him not being a brujo and not, accepting him as a boy. So he's like scared that his father is going to see Julian following him around and being like, who's that spirit? And they also live in a cemetery. I forgot to say that. So it's, the whole entire family, like his aunts, his uncles, they all live on like this. How it's described is like they have like, it must be like a huge cemetery because he lives by like the old church and everyone else kind of lives off somewhere within the cemetery. Which I thought was like creepy but cool at the same time. Because they have all these spirits walking around, like just chilling. They're able to talk to them. So it's pretty funny because he's always like running into a spirit and trying to hide Julian so they don't see Julian, and the spirits don't go tell his dad because his dad is like the leader of the family. So in the midst of all this, not only is Yadriel kind of like the black sheep of the family because, he's, trans. He hasn't, done anything to fulfill his powers. But his uncle is also, he doesn't have powers like everyone else. So they both kind of relate to each other. And he confides in his uncle more than he does with his dad. So we also have that relationship with him and his uncle, and his uncle always saying that he accepts him, and like he'll try to get his dad to, change his mind and, help the family kind of see him for who he is. So you have that, and then you have Julian's story where, he's labeled as the bad boy, and him and his friends are in a gang, but we find out like these are, kind of like strays, kind of, they all have their own kind of family issues at home, and they kind of like relate to each other. Like one of his friends, Flocka, she's the first openly trans girl that, came to his school that kind of pushed Yadriel to kind of come out of his shell and, helped him realize who he was because she was open about who she was. So, and then there's Omar, whose family got deported. Then we have, Rocky, who is, a lesbian. And then we have Luca, whose family just beats him and doesn't treat him well. So all these people are thinking, oh, these are all bad kids. They're in a gang. But honestly, they're not. They're really good kids. They just have shitty lives, and they kind of gravitate to each other. And like, Julian has a temper. So that's why everybody, doesn't really like him. But it's just, he stands up for the people he loves. He stands up for himself. He doesn't like, being mistreated, but his temper takes it to like a whole nother level. So no one really understands them. So now it's like, it has like, that found or chosen family kind of like theme. When it comes to, Julian and his friends and his brother. And then you have kind of like a ghost and human love story at the same time.
Ooh.
So that was really cute. I don't want to give too much away because there's a lot of this story that I love, and like I love the relationships of the characters. I love it kind of was sad because, you know, Yadriel's falling for a ghost. And eventually that ghost has to go find his way, you know, to the afterlife. So that's always in the back of his mind as he's like falling for him. And Julian, you know, is trying to learn how to be able to like touch him and like, you know, be able to be closer to him, which was kind of cute. And he accepted him like instantly when Yadriel was like, "Oh, you know, I'm a trans boy," and he was like, "Okay, like, what are you telling me?" Like he just was super like chill about it. Um, and then I loved how Yadriel got sick of always making excuses for his family not understanding who he was and finally standing up for himself. Like, no, I'm not going to apologize for who I am so that you feel better about who I am.
Right.
It's either,
I love that.
It's either
so
you,
typical.
Yes. He was like, either you accept me or you don't, but I'm no longer going to be apologizing for who I am. And I really liked him, like, understanding that within himself and, like, you know, staying true to that. So I really enjoyed the story. I don't want to say what happens to Julian. You know, do they find his body or anything like that? Do they find Miguel? I don't know. Read the book. It's really, really good.
I do want to read it. It's been on my wish list for a really long time.
And honestly, when I was explaining it to Angel, he was like, it kind of sounds like it could be a movie. And I'm like, yes, it really, really could be. And I'm like, oh, I would love to know, like, who would play them, you know, like, you know, these characters, like, who would I want to cast as, you know, Julian and Yadriel? Who would I cast as Maritza? Because she's, like, this spunky cousin who, like, takes no shit. And she's always accepted him for who he was, too. Because in her situation, they use animal blood when they're doing some of their like rituals and stuff, and she's vegan.
Oh my god.
So she's never really used her powers or tried to use her powers because she's not going to use animal blood to do it. So, you know, there's some like humor and funny parts to the story. So, you know, her being vegan and then them using the animal blood, I thought that was funny. But what I really liked was that, you know, they use, you know, the Spanish witchcraft in a non-gimmicky way, in a non-like, oh, this is a cult, or, you know, this is, like, in a negative light, which, you know, when you think about it, you know, growing up, if we ever, you know, I'm sure you heard of santeras and things like that. When people think of things like that, it's always a negative kind of, you know, connotation. And this was just like a really positive, like, no, they're using it to help people. They're using it, you know, to help, you know, the spirits go to the next life. And it wasn't in a negative way. So I really like that. Especially within our culture, you know, it was a nice, like, little thing. Like, you know, the Day of the Dead, people celebrated by, you know, painting their faces and doing little shrines for the people who've passed away and things like that. And that was part of the story, too. So it was a really beautiful book. I enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I really loved the characters. There were some great moments, some emotional moments that would get you. Especially between Yadriel and Julian. And then when you find out, like, you know, everything that's happened with his friends and him, you kind of feel bad, you know. So it was really, really good. I really liked it. And for it to be, and I believe it's the author's debut book. I could be wrong, but I thought I read somewhere that it was his debut book. It's it's like 350 pages, but like I said, it's really enjoyable, it's really entertaining, and I really, really liked it. And I think a lot of people would.
Yeah, it really sounds super interesting. Like I said, it's been on my wish list for a long time, so I definitely want to pick it up. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you would really like it. Like I said, it's a lot of it. You would picture it as a movie. Like there's just moments where you're like, oh, I could totally like envision this on the screen, which is really good. I like books like that you can envision it as a movie and like playing out in real life. And it's, a paranormal, young adult story. So I feel like a lot of people would be interested in something like that. And,
I think once I read it, we should like do like a partial episode on who we think would play the parts.
Ooh.
Of a movie, if it was made into a movie,
Yes, that would be
really fun.
Yes, that would be so much fun. Oh, I love that idea. That would be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my book. It was Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, and I really, really like it. So if you haven't heard of the story or you want to, I would totally tell you to pick it up and read it. I really loved it. All right. So that is the end of episode 15. We are so excited that you listened this far into it or you made it to episode 15 with us. We enjoy these podcasts and we love sharing our thoughts on books. So if you haven't heard, we have episodes 1 through 14 still posted. So please check those out if you haven't yet. And yeah, until next time, friends. Bye.